So tonight I have a treat for all my guys and gals out here, and I'm so super excited. Tonight we have Mr. Bill Hauser, aka Ken Dewey, and he is an independent paranormal researcher and investigator. He was born in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and lives on the West Coast, particularly in the city of Surrey, BC. A well-rounded investigator and researcher using different types of equipment on paranormal investigations in different locations. Paranormal activities are things that he is so passionate to do, and he has dedicated and committed himself to ghost hunting for over 20 years now. And yes, he does have his own personal paranormal experiences, but fearfulness didn't stop him yet. It was the key to widen his horizons, discover new things, and quest to find real answers and help others deal with paranormal concerns. Digital, night vision, and full-spectrum video cameras are products of modern technology that makes paranormal investigation and research easier for him. At present, he is focusing on his research of paranormal phenomenon, asking questions to spirits using the following devices: EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, with digital recorder and special featured programs, Spirit Box, Ghost Box, and known as Frank Box, are samples of controversial electronic devices. This electronic device, called ITC, which is Instrumental Transcommunication, is a device that is used for two-way real-time spirit communications, which gives great results upon asking questions. For the record, all of his YouTube videos that he has done and posted are filmed in RAW with no alterations. And he did networking with other paranormal organizations on current paranormal issues and has been invited to numerous radio programs to share information about different techniques on how you should do proper ethics of research in this type of field. Welcome, Bill. It's so great to have you. I've missed you.
Yeah, welcome. That's right. Yes, thank you very much, Tessa. It's great to be on your show there. And I just want to say hello to all your great listeners.
Thank you so much. So how have you been? How have things been going in this crazy world these days?
I'm doing not too bad. Doing the social distancing and all that because of the COVID-19 and, just learning to work with it and so on. And, I've actually had a few investigations, so that's been good. And then a lot of online consultations with people, using Skype and stuff like that to communicate and doing personal ghost box sessions for people. So it's been really good.
That's awesome. So it sounds like you've been keeping yourself busy with different activities and different cases. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Well, I could start with, I did an event there with the paranormal group that I have an affiliation with as a member. That was really great. That was with Cornerstone Supernatural, and that was in Vancouver at the Stanley Theatre that we did a fundraiser for the Art Theatre Club. So that was really good. That was actually really popular with the guests that came in, and people were getting a lot of strange images on their, smartphones and digital cameras and so on. So yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed that.
It's really interesting. I have tinnitus, so at night I'll watch or listen to paranormal videos while I'm lulling myself to sleep. But a lot of times, people are using these night vision cameras or different small little cameras. And it seems that sometimes on a cell phone, for some apparent reason, it'll show things that other medias don't. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I guess it's just the wavelength of light that is able, with a lot of these smartphones, they're actually really good now, taking really quality photos there and working well in low lighting situations.
It's very intriguing. So man, you started 20 years ago. What got you interested in getting into the field of the paranormal?
Well, I've been, involved at least a little over 20 years documenting the paranormal with ghost hunting as the start, and then eventually I started doing ITC, instrument trans communications, with the ghost box. But a lot of this stems from when I was a little kid. I had a lot of personal experiences as a kid, and so that really, I always had things questioned at the back of my mind about what's going on, and then finally, I started to realize it's something more on the paranormal side. So, seeing orbs was one thing, shadow people. I saw a full body apparition a few times. Looked kind of hologramic, for best way to describe it. And yeah, I mean, it was startling too at the same time as a little kid.
Can you tell us about these experiences, like in more detail?
Well, it was basically, we went to the cemetery after Sunday dinner. We went to church, then we had Sunday dinner at home and some friends and relatives, and then we decided to go to the cemetery, pay our respects to loved ones that have passed over, and somehow a spirit attached onto me and came back home with me, and then I was able to see the spirit later that night in my bedroom, basically. And even at the cemetery, I saw something even during daylight hours that looked kind of like the outline of a silhouette humanoid like figure. So, yeah, it was definitely. I was like, "What the heck is this?" And so, I mean, things happened along the way, and then orbs. I saw a lot of them along the way, and then shadow people, and voices, disembodied voices and stuff like that as well. And, all kinds of crazy little things.
So, did you feel alone in all this, or did your family experience these things as well?
Basically, like my father was very religious, so he just kind of passed it off as active imagination. My mom was a little bit more sensitive about it, but realized that maybe I was seeing ghosts, but didn't really want to entertain it that far with me. But anyway, because she was from England, so she kind of grew up with, the resident ghost of homes. A lot of the homes in her area were back in the 1700s. So yeah, it was not uncommon to have a resident ghost at your friend's place or at their place for that matter.
So, do you feel like all of your paranormal activity began after going to that cemetery?
Well, it happened quite a few times, so it wasn't just one time. So it was
But did it
quite a
start
few
there,
times actually.
or did it start before?
No, I was actually seeing the shadow people and that before, and the orbs. I would see balls of light in my bedroom at nighttime, and they would visibly show themselves to me, so didn't have to have a camera or anything like that. So I wished I would have had a camera to try to take a picture, but it didn't work out that way. But yeah, the disembodied voices as well. So yeah, there was a lot of strange things going on.
That's interesting. Do you think it was like family or residual ghosts from that property?
Possibly could have been spirits that have come and go, sort of transient spirits that move around. So yeah, I mean, it could have been a number of those different sources. So I really don't know, but as far as I know, they showed themselves to me, so they wanted themselves to be seen. So and they realized I could see them at that time. Now I don't see them. Like I sense them, but I don't see them. But I very, maybe the odd occasion I'll see like an orb or something on some people's property and stuff like that. So, doing investigations, but usually it's through the camera's eye.
Yeah, it's interesting how, cameras can pick up orbs and things like that. And for the longest time, I did wonder, is it dust? Is it something else? But I actually saw a couple orbs with my own naked eye. One was when my daughter was doing high jump, and the other was at my friend's house, which she calls the haunt because it's haunted, and that's where our team would meet up. But it was like a bright blue orb, and it's just interesting I think it's the way that the energy of the spirit is easily able to move around instead of being full figured. They're just this ball of energy. What are your thoughts on orbs?
Well, I know there's been a lot of controversy about orbs, thinking that they could be particles of dust and so on, but I strongly do believe there is real orbs out there. And, I've actually seen an orb in New Westminster at an old cemetery at Boot Hill there. It was where the BC Penitentiary Cemetery is. And that's now a park, but back then it was just a derelict cemetery. It was kind of forgotten about, and there was a ravine right beside it, and a bunch of trees and stuff. And we were in there with some other people, and the orb showed itself up in the trees, and I strongly believe that it was probably about the size of a basketball, in size. It was good size, and it was kind of like watching us. And at first, I was kind of like, is that someone with a flashlight? But I didn't see a beam of light or anything like that. But it was very intense, and it would move just a little bit, and it was like watching us. And then it slowly went away, and it was quite amazing. Had a really weird vibe feeling to it too. So
Yeah, you definitely pick up on the energy. I think the weirdest photo of orbs I got it was for Dylan Redwine's birthday party. Actually, his mom's birthday party, and she does a camp out at her house every year. All kinds of friends come from all over, and so I'm just taking pictures. And one particular, actually a few, you see these orbs, and people are trying to say, well, that's just rain in the picture. But when you look at it, it looks like they're shooting up. All of these orbs are shooting up instead of coming down like rain. So that was pretty intriguing. I've got so many orb pictures. It's insane.
yeah, exactly. When you do see orbs like that on photos, there are some ways to tell that, that it could be dust or water particles or something like that. But generally speaking, if you, do a close-up on these orbs, you start seeing structure, and in some cases, some people see faces, and yeah, it's quite amazing.
What is the most memorable investigation for you that you've done?
Memorable. Okay. Well, actually, a lot of them have been very memorable at historical locations, but I really liked Hat Creek Ranch there. I really liked that, going there, and I was involved in doing some investigations on that location, and I even went there the year after for a holiday, because it's basically like a working historical location, so they have a campsite right beside it. And so I stayed there for a couple days, and I really enjoyed it there, and it's it has a certain vibe to it. It was part of the gold rush of British Columbia there, going up through the Fraser Canyon and upwards to like in the Caribou and all the way up to Barkerville. So it was a major thoroughfare that people would travel. And, to be honest with you, it's very, the property has been well taken care of in the old buildings. So, yeah, you had a really interesting vibe to that location. So I think that would be the most memorable.
Is there anything that you've ever witnessed or caught as evidence that just really blew you away?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's been lots of photos along the way that have been taken that just, kind of defy total logic of what it could be and so on. So that aspect, that's where a lot of times you have to kind of look a little deeper into the situation there. And, it's good to really do a lot of background history check on those properties and locations, because a lot of times that will help to explain the paranormal activity.
I like to go into places cold to see what I pick up, and then get the information afterwards to see how it lines up. But I could see how using a ghost box, that knowing the names of certain individuals that might be there or whatnot, it's easier to connect to them, or perhaps get their attention to where, hey, this person knows my name, perhaps I should talk back. So that's pretty cool. And I've noticed you've
Oh yeah,
done.
definitely.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, definitely. I know for like mediums that are on teams with paranormal groups, yeah, they like to go in pretty cold, not knowing anything about the location. So I can understand that situation. For me, it's a form of electronic mediumship using the ghost box. So it's nice to have some information so I can use that as ways of communication with them. And, it just strikes conversation through the ghost box if you know a little bit about the history.
Seems like you have been to a lot of different locations. Like you're not just in Canada doing investigations, you go to other countries and investigate at times.
Yeah, I've been in the United States as well as I've been over in the Philippines. That was a couple years ago that I went over there, and yeah, that was really exciting. Got to be on a TV show there, a paranormal based TV show. They had me on as a guest, and we went to a location that had a lot of weird stuff in the sense of car accidents and so on. So, yeah, we went there and I was able to get some communications there, and that was quite interesting.
Did you find that over in the Philippines, was it more active than here, or was there really a difference?
Well, there was a slight difference because sometimes they would speak in Tagalog, that's their national language. So, but a lot of times they did speak in English, and they did use words that I could understand. In the South, it was a little different. They were actually speaking a native language, and basically, it's not really that well spoken outside of that region. Maybe a little bit in Manila, but anyway, it was in Cagayan de Oro, just outside. I went to a big cemetery there, and yeah, I was getting a lot of really interesting stuff coming through. And our cab driver ended up being our tour guide. Sort of, he kind of took us around, and he could speak the language very clearly and understood. And yeah, he could say that yeah, they were not happy being in that cemetery, and it was rather even daytime. It was rather spooky. There's well over 100 and some odd thousand people buried there.
That's amazing. And it's funny, a lot of people think I have to go on an investigation at night, and it is nice because, there's less noise as far as there's less activity. But one of the best cases I was part of was really early in the morning, which goes against everything I believe, but I was willing to go to this place and check it out, and I could not believe all of the information and how active it was so early in the day. But ghosts are, another version of us. It's another stage of our life form, I think, and so they're around at different times during the day. It's not just at night, so that's pretty interesting. Did your cabbie tell you anything about? Has he had any experiences with spirits getting in his car? I've heard stories over in that area of picking up a woman or someone and they open the door and then close it behind them and you feel the car shake and everything, but nobody's really there. Did he have any
Well, he
experiences
did
that he shared
share.
with you?
Yeah, he did share that lady, kind of like the old story of the lady in white, kind of with some of his fellow cabbie drivers. He's heard stories like that, but not himself personally. But yeah, and back, I think in 2011, they had a really bad storm, and a lot of people died in the city there. It was a typhoon that came through, and it actually hit the city of Cagayan de Oro. And so there was a lot of bodies all around, and they kind of went to one area. There was sort of a, what do you call, like a roundabout intersection. So he took us over there, and yeah, he said that's where a lot of the bodies ended up piling up through the water because there was flooding and tidal surges and that because they're right beside the ocean. So yeah, he's mentioned some stories like that with his fellow cab drivers.
Yeah, tsunamis. Oh my gosh, those are so crazy. I couldn't even imagine going through something like that and the number of lives that are lost all at once.
Yeah, exactly. That was a really bad storm back then, and they even have a memorial like plaque and everything in the town there with all the people who lost their lives. So I know there was well over 1,000 people that lost their lives in that storm, and some they never found because they got swept out into the water and out to the ocean.
Very sad. But it is such a beautiful place.
Yeah, I mean, considering its history and everything, yeah, it is a very beautiful place with the Spanish decor of the history of the old Spanish buildings there that are really interesting. I found it a really fascinating place to visit, and the people were very friendly. So, yeah, I enjoyed that going there.
Is your wife from there? Is that why you go over there?
Yeah, she's from the Philippines, and so yeah, I go over there, and that she's over there right now. So, unfortunately, she can't come back due to the travel ban.
Oh my goodness. How long has she been over there?
Since 2018.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah, so I've been kind of being a bachelor basically by myself here. So yeah, I think eventually that will open up. So we have to, give a little bit of, I've done a lot of praying and stuff like that. So hopefully that will resolve itself, and things will open up eventually.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, well, this COVID-19 has taken everybody really off guard around the world, especially in third world countries. So, you can only imagine being in a third world country with their medical system, not quite like it is in, like, say, where I am in Canada. But, yeah, I mean, they've been doing the best they can as well as other countries. So, I mean, we can only, put faith in the matter, and hopefully things will resolve.
Do you know what the numbers are over there and how they are doing dealing with this?
I don't know exactly the numbers, but they're moderately high, I guess, in that area. But actually, some other countries in that part of the world have been a lot higher. So, I mean, you got to consider, like the population in Manila is really, very dense. So, yeah, that would be that area would be hit a lot harder, say, than the countrysides, for example.
For sure. It seems very populated.
Yeah, well, in the Philippines, a lot of people tend to go to the city of Manila for employment and work, so you have that aspect as well there.
So I really want to ask you, like, what your favorite paranormal, tool is, but I'm kind of guessing it's your ghost box.
Well, I kind of gravitate to that because it seems to work well. That was sort of accidental how I got into it. So I use a lot of other gadgets, EMF meters, digital recorders, and REM pod type devices, and so on, and different other devices that help me with the paranormal. So yeah, it works pretty good in the long run.
So how did you, accidentally happen upon ghost boxes?
Well, I'd heard quite a lot about it back in, I guess, 2000, late 2007. I heard it on the internet, and then I saw quite a few YouTube videos and different people. So eventually, I just got more and more interested in it, and then by I'd say 2010, I decided to get a radio, Radio Shack radio, but fortunately, Canada no longer had Radio Shack, so I had to go down to Bellingham, and I picked up one there and brought it home, and I basically hacked it. So basically, you're just modifying it so it continuously scans, and that's how I got started with it. So guys like Steve Halty with his website were very helpful. He had a lot of information about it at that time. That made it a lot easier to do that, and then I was able to get my hands on another radio and modify it, and then I went to the PSB7, and then from there it just took off with different radios, and eventually the custom-built radios that I have today.
So far, I've gotten my very first one was an SPB 7, and then the second one I got was an SPB 11. And I just feel like there's so much going on with the 11 that it doesn't work as well as the 7.
His radio's showcased on such an interesting show.
For sure. And there's a lot of apps out there. One's Ghost Radio. There's several others that act as a ghost story, including this. But yeah, we got a lot out of it. But as far as other investigations with it, it didn't seem to work out too well. It's just words here and there, and nothing really adds up.
Yeah, well, those kinds of products there, the Ghost Radar, yeah, it's kind of like an obvious concept. So it's got pre-programmable words in there that the spirits or, entities, shall we say, are able to better utilize to form, conversation. To be honest with you, if you're going to get a device like that, standalone device, it's better to have it where it's just all just random noise that's programmed into the device, so there's no words, and then they have to form speech through that. That, to me, is a lot more credible.
For sure. Robin in the chat room was wondering, have you heard about the Ghost Rider case? Woman's full name.
A tool that I use.
For some reason, our show keeps cutting in and out, but hopefully it's not paranormal difficulties and it'll clear up soon. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with the Ouija board? Like, what exactly happened that made you not really fond of it?
Well, it was the neighbor. Look back to it now. Sometimes his moods would just go up and down, really, really radical. So that would be kind of what I had the experience with. And of course, my parents weren't happy about me using the Ouija board. Eventually, they found out about it too, so they didn't like that. So, yeah, that's all stopped pretty fast. And the parents weren't too happy, because they had gotten the thing thinking it was a board game more than anything, not an actual, something that had supernatural abilities that are applied with people using it. So,
did anyone, and I agree with that, like they produce it as like a parlor game, and, no harm, no foul, and at the age of, I think, 7 or 8 and up, you can use this game, and, I mean, what a way to market it. Pretty brilliant. But it is very dangerous, especially with kids. They get scared, they run away, and they don't close it out properly. Or they'll do other things to where they have issues for a long time after. Did any one of you that had this Ouija board session have any after effects from it?
Well, I'd say more my friend, because he used it quite a bit with his sister and a few others. So, yeah, they used it quite intensively there for a while. So I would say that, yeah, now looking back, I could see changes in his personality and, his emotion state. Yeah, he used to fly off the handle really fast. And, now I think of it, he had an attachment to himself. So.
Yeah, it's really not good. I used the Ouija board once, actually twice in one night. First time for a second, wanted to talk to my mom. It told me no, so I was like, screw this, I'm going to go take a shower, and then I did it again. It was on my rack, and so I was by myself when I did it. And the girls came over, were saying my name, talking to me, shaking me, and I did not hear them or feel them until quite a while later. And then after that, I think, is when I got my first sleep paralysis. But yeah, it's really crazy how they do it, and people even build their own Ouija boards.
Oh yeah, it doesn't take very much really to, piece of cardboard with a bunch of numbers on it and yes and no and so on. You can easily do that. So, and then of course the letters on it. So yeah, you don't really have to be very fancy about it. It'll still work. So.
Yeah, and a lot of people say using these other tools like dowsing rods, ghost boxes, other things like that are the same as using a Ouija board. Do you agree with that?
I would say no, because they operate on a whole different principle, especially dowsing rods and pendulums. That's more tapping into energy forms. I mean, it's what you want to use it for too. That's important. So your intent by using it. But the ghost box, yeah, that's a bit different. You're dealing with radio waves and then being able to have the spirits form speech through basically continuous scanning with breakup of broadcast radio. So it's being chopped up pretty good, and then basically they reform speech, remodulate.
How does your wife feel about the work that you do? Is she supportive or does it freak her out?
Pretty supportive. Over in the Philippines, they take it slightly different because, Catholics there, I mean, Catholic is the most dominant religion there. And then, I mean, they look at it, the paranormal, with a little bit different eye to it than, say, people over here in North America. But yeah, they strongly believe in the paranormal. And of course, they get caught up with a lot of old stories of the past and that, and how do you call little legends and stuff like that, stories of haunted places, possible battlefields, because they've had quite a nasty history of war through their time, and been a lot of talk of those houses. Oh, you don't go into them; they're haunted and stuff like that.
So, when you find places that you investigate, is it generally somebody reaching out to you to come help them, or do you go by a place and feel like, man, this place is definitely haunted, I want to go check it out? How exactly do you come upon a case?
A lot of times people will contact me if I'm doing my independent work. Basically, they'll do that. And then a lot of times I'm kind of a specializing in my area because I use the ghost box a lot in there. So it's a form of mediumship that I'm doing with the ghost box. So I actually directly communicate with the spirits, find out what might be the problem, why are they upset, and stuff like that. So it's a whole different way of my investigation, say, to other groups and that. Being an affiliated member of the paranormal group I belong to, yeah, they do it slightly different, but they use the ghost box too, and also mediums and that. So I really get along well with the way they do their investigations. So I really like that.
What sort of things do they use over there as far as protection or ways to banish spirits? Is it different than here?
Pretty much the same. I mean, I do a lot of protection myself personally because of what I do and that. So, yeah, I mean, it comes down to the intent that goes with that. So, yeah, I do a lot of incense to start with, some smudging, and also prayer, and then, put the intent, and then basically I tell any unwanted spirit, you're not allowed to be in here, and so on. And then I close the ghost box off with a system where I like to count 1 to 5 backwards. And so it's like you're closing off the radio so they have a chance to leave, basically.
That's interesting. Have you ever had an attachment from investigations or different things in the paranormal field that you've done?
Oh, yeah. When I was younger, I had an attachment when I first started doing documenting, as a ghost hunter, shall we say. And that was in Victoria at a cemetery. It was basically one of the oldest cemeteries in the province of British Columbia, and that's Ross Bay Cemetery. And a lot of very prominent people in British Columbia history are buried there as well. And so a lot of mediums too, like spiritualists of the day back in the late 1800s, because Victoria had a lot of connection to England, of course. And so there was mediums and spiritual people, shall we say. So that was also a big factor. So when I went in there, basically I got my energy sucked out of me, and I ended up looking like a ghost. So I was very pale and not feeling too good. So that lasted for about 4 days after, and I felt like I had like the flu, but not quite. But emotionally, everything. I was just drained. I just wanted to lay in bed, basically. And then finally that went away. But one of the ladies who does a lot of protection, and she is a medium, she gave me some advice that I needed to protect myself. And she said that to some degree you're connected very much more so than you would give yourself credit to the paranormal. So that means now I protect myself. So it's like a ritual kind of thing that I do all the time. And yeah, I haven't had too many problems since then. I've been in some pretty intense locations, and I managed to get out of there pretty good without a lot of problems.
Have you ever encountered a place that was plagued by demons or anything like that? And if so, what route did you take?
Well, I think a lot of times that's kind of overused, the concept of
Mm-hmm.
demons. A lot of times I think it could be very angry spirits of the past that are upset and for whatever reason. So they could have been jerks in life and they could be jerks in the afterlife. So yeah, they could hit you and cause all kinds of little things to bug you and so on. So that's kind of where I feel about that. But yeah, I mean, there are spirits of other dimensions, shall we say, that you have to be careful about.
And I agree that word demon is used quite often, and I agree with you as far as the spirit. It could be angry, or it could just be trying to get your attention. But yeah, a lot of people
Yeah,
automatically think it's demonic, and I think you're right. I think that term is very loosely used.
yeah, very, very much. And I think too, a lot of that's just sort of lack of understanding of spiritualism, and knowing that I mean, really, if you look at a demon, they really don't like man in general. So they're not going to really be that forward in doing stuff unless they have a reason for it. So that's my opinion, and they have to have a reason why they would cause great harm to you or upset your whole well-being.
For sure. So, um, I know you started ghost hunting pretty early. Did you ever form a group, or were you ever a part of a paranormal group, or have you just basically been working with different groups?
I worked with different groups when I began. Basically, they kind of got I got taught the basics, shall we say, of doing investigations and stuff, how to do it, and being able to do it in a methodical way that your evidence would not have a lot of problems, so no contamination or whatever, and try to eliminate those problems. And a lot of the basics I learned, and then later on when the ghost box came, it was like that's a whole different ball game of stuff there. So I found that to be a lot more free flowing, shall we say, and at the same time, you still got to do the protection stuff because you could unknowingly invite something in, so you have to be very careful.
For sure, it seems like when you do use different equipment like the ghost box or different things like that, it's like a magnet. The spirits know that there's someone out there that can hear them. I remember one of your past shows that I was listening to where there were so many ghosts trying to talk at the same time, and you hear this woman say, "All right, everybody line up one at a time." You know, so it was cool. There was someone on the other side, kind of like putting everyone in order, and we're not going to be able to understand you unless you do it one at a
Well,
time.
that
If
could
it's
be
all
the
at once,
technician there.
right?
That could have been, yeah, that could have been the technician they call, or the gatekeepers, shall we say, that form some order in communication there. So
It was super awesome. That's the first time I'd ever heard anything like that on the ghost box. And like you're saying, you have this energy, and it's sort of like a mediumship that you use when you are using the ghost box. You're not just using it willy nilly. You actually, I believe, have a gift, and I've never seen anybody have such great success with it as I have seen with you.
Yeah, well, it is, like I say, a form of mediumship, electronic mediumship. I like that word. It kind of goes in hand. Uh, to be honest with you, doing this kind of communications, it's different, okay, than if you're using, say a digital recorder. But still, when you open that digital or turn it on and do your EVP sessions, you're still inviting them to communicate. So no matter what, you need to know the basics of protection, and so that is important. A lot of people, they start out in ghost hunting, they really don't know a lot about the spiritual side of the ghost hunting, and so that's where people get themselves in a lot of problems, I find.
For sure. So you had mentioned like things that you use for protection, and one of those was burning incense. What are some other methods of protection?
Well, I mean, I don't really get into, a lot of, you know, crystals and all that, but I do wear crystals. I think that helps me in the channeling side, but you must keep those crystals clean, especially quartz crystal. So, I use a tuning fork with 528, so I find that works well, especially when you're traveling and you're out somewhere. You just bang onto that and let it vibrate, and it clears the crystal of negativity. Uh, Incense, yeah, like some of the old incenses, like frankincense, myrrh, and that. I mean, that's as old as the Bible days, and they've used that for a long time, and that works well. And sandalwood, and some of the others, and some of the great incenses from India, I use as well because we have a big Indian community here, so I'm able to get that at the corner stores, and it's good quality incense too. So I mean, it's not that expensive either. So yeah, it's I mean, a lot of times that works well, but it's not just the incense; it's also the intent that you put behind it.
It was interesting. And before I get to that story, I want to ask you, have you noticed since COVID-19 like an upsweep in paranormal activity?
I have heard this, not personally. I've seen it uh, myself around here. I guess because I keep my place pretty well in check, so spirits don't hang around too much around here that don't want to communicate with me. So, uh, I mean, if people are at home, they could, this is the thing, they could be out of work, waiting for government support with their checks. Well, probably they have it now, but back at the beginning, back say in late February and March and that, when everything kind of shut down practically. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of emotional energy being built up there in the home. So that's another factor, too, that we build a lot of our own emotional energies. And, some people are a little bit more gifted unintentionally. And so, yeah, that kind of just bleeds out into the environment where they live. So you have that factor as well. I mean, that's, of course, just my opinion. But, I mean, who knows? I mean, the spirits probably they're well aware of this pandemic, and I feel they are. So,
And I think there's a lot of, like you were saying, stress because you're not working. How am I going to pay for bills? I mean, they're really
yeah,
dragging their feet on this second stimulus. I don't know how it is in Canada, but we thought we were going to get it a couple months ago, and we're still waiting, and we might not even get it until September. But I mean, for us doing security, all of the jobs are basically gone. Luckily, we got to do the fair, but it was only like a fifth of what we generally get as far as pay for that event. So it's been very difficult. There's a lot of stress, a lot of fear, a lot of things going on, and I think different things are seeing that, different things that like to feed off of that negative energy. I'm hoping it's something like that instead of the veil thinning and things coming to a precipice as far as the end of times, which, everybody's been saying it's the end of time for so long. But it just seems like
yeah,
things are
yeah,
kind
that's
of
true.
picking up.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you can cry that this is the end of the world and the pandemic. It's one of the four horsemen, pestilence, and all that. But I mean, at the same time, uh, you know, I don't really get too caught up with all the conspiracy theories around COVID-19, but I do believe that there are some things that are questionable about it. But, I mean, we still, on our everyday life, we still have to get up and, we have to eat, we have to pay the bills, and so on. So, to be honest with you, I mean, it's really comes down to personal protection, no matter what. Uh, I mean, that's very important with your daily life. And then, of course, people like myself who are very much connected in doing stuff with haunted locations, I have to do this a lot more than, say, someone that doesn't, and then using the ghost box. So, yeah, I mean, I don't take it lightly. I take it very seriously, actually, that I protect myself.
It's very important, and sometimes you don't follow protocol. I'm not saying you, but one time I didn't. Generally, like I said, when I go by a house or go to a house, I pick up on the energy immediately. And one particular time, I didn't feel anything, but this lady's about to have a baby. She said she's got stuff going on. I believe her. I had a kit with blessed cedar, frankincense, Palo Santo, sage, all kinds of different things in it, and showed her how to use it, and saged her house, and showed her how to get into every nook, cranny, and crevice. And the whole time, I'm not picking up on anything, but I actually went by myself. I did nothing to protect myself beforehand. The only thing that I did was carry selenite and tourmaline in my pocket. Otherwise, I didn't do things that I generally would. And being the sage was all around me, I didn't feel like, okay, I'm done, now I need to sage, because I've been surrounded by it the whole time. But like you said, it's in the intent, what you're doing. And so later on that night is when the possession happened, and I learned a valuable lesson. No matter if I pick up on something or not, I need to protect myself. Very important not to go alone. And yeah, protection always. And grounding and clearing. Do you do any sort of meditation or grounding and clearing exercises?
Well, I do meditate a little bit. I find that works quite well. That helps me to be more able to communicate, shall we say, with the ghost box and so on, and just be able to get my own sort of psychic impressions. I sometimes will just kind of walk around without any devices being used and just sort of get a feel for the vibrational feel of that location.
Have you ever had anything along those lines happen where something was basically, I feel like it was hiding from me and keeping itself unknown? Have you had something do that and then surprise,
Oh yeah,
this is what it is?
yeah, yeah. They can be a little sneaky. Don't kid yourself.
Right?
I mean, that's the thing, and it's also a lot of times it's you're helping the homeowner of that place and taking control back, because a lot of times they'll know that they're going to get somebody in to try to help them. So yeah, they're going to go in the background, so you really can't detect them as easily as you think. But the thing is you want to give the homeowner positive direction to take ownership. So basically, that's where I do the sessions, and I get the homeowner basically to yell it out. Get out. You're not welcome here anymore. Get
Mm-hmm.
out. So, yeah, well, you have to set the intent. And so that's very important, and that's where you help the homeowner. So, yeah, you give them reassurance that this is probably the best way for you to do this.
Yeah, like I was saying, last weekend we had, at first my daughter reported shadow people outside the house, and then I went and took a break from the after party, and she's like, Mom, there's a shadow person that keeps going by my doorway really fast, and she starts tearing up, and I'm like, a lot of these entities and things don't want to be seen or known, so I think it's moving so fast past your doorway because it doesn't want you to see it, but you do. But just always know you're more powerful than this entity. And a lot of them try to make you think you're not, that you're powerless and they're the powerful one. But that is one of the major mistakes that people make. Don't fear it. You are more powerful. You have that light within you. and that power above them as an individual.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, emotional states are very important. You want to be able to control that. So, yeah, don't show fear if you can, and reassure the client basically to think differently about this whole matter, and be able to reassure them that you have to start to change a few things and how you think about it. And fear, excitability, anger, all that kind of stuff in the house, that they feed off that big time.
They really do. So it's important. Be strong and know you're stronger than them. But on that note, even though I know Robin's in the chat room, he's got a question, but we do have to go on our first musical break. And on this break, we have Gravity from Krakow, Poland with Throw You Away. We have Fred Johnson III from Canyon County, California with Sugar. I love Fred Johnson III. He's one of my faves. We also have Gravity with Take a Walk in My Shoes, as well as Prime Example. And thank you so much for giving us our music. Prime Example, they're just giving us music to play. These are independent artists, but they are singing Dancing Machine. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this musical break.
thinking all the things you said you need. Well, don't you tell me, baby, how do you feel? As I walk down the street, thinking all the things you said you need. Well, don't you tell me, baby, how do you feel? Don't you take a walk? Well, don't you take a walk? In my shoes, why don't you take a walk? Before you tell me what to do, well, don't you take a walk? Well, don't you take a walk? In my shoes, why don't you take a walk? Before you tell me what to do. No, it's easy, you tell me what to do. Have you ever stopped to think all the things that I've been through? No, it's easy, you tell me what to do. Have you ever stopped to think all the things that I've been through? Well, don't you take a walk? Well, don't you take a walk? In my shoes, well, don't you, baby, take a walk? Before you tell me what to do, well, don't you take a walk? Well, don't you take a walk? In my shoes, well, don't you, baby, take a walk? Before you tell me what to do.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we have Ken Dewey, aka Bill Hauser, in the house with his ghost box. I'm so excited to have him. And I must admit, I did have a bit of a brain fart before the break. I could not think of Quest's name. Roy Washington, Quest Nation, thank you so much for our music and providing us that for our musical breaks. I'm so grateful. But welcome back, Bill, and thanks so much for coming on the show and hanging out with us tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me. It's been great so far.
So I wanted to get to Brave Sir Robin's question, and then everybody's really stoked and ready to get into the ghost box. Robin was wondering, what are your thoughts on pendulums?
Pendulums, I use one actually, so it's nothing new for me to use one. I use them in different ways, mostly, to detect energy is one of the key factors of it. I don't really get into the yes and no aspects of it all the time, but you can use it that way. And dowsing rods, I use dowsing rods on my locations to locate outside and in the house is where the energy fields are and where underground streams might be snaking under the house and stuff like that, so I get a better picture of where the flow of energy is going.
I really have to say that I like the way you say energy.
Oh, really? It's my Canadian accent.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so cool. The first time, so my granny, when I was a kid, after my mom was killed by a drunk driver and my dad had a really hard time with it, we went for a visit and we were there for quite a long time, but she taught us how to douse with applewood or hickory sticks or whatnot to douse for water. So that was my first experience with that. And then about, I want to say 6 years ago, we went to Vegas and I booked a investigation for me and my daughter to go on, and that was the first time I had ever used copper dowsing rods, and it was just insane, the amount of energy coming through it. And at a certain point it felt like they were so heavy, like my back was arched and my arms are shaking, and they're like, "Are you okay? Why are you shaking?" And I'm just like, it feels really heavy, like there's a weight on them or something. But they were amazing, so I bought like 3 pairs. I still have them today. But that was my very first tool for my paranormal investigating. And some people say it's allowing the spirits to manipulate the rods because they are good conductors of energy. And others think that it's your internal psychical abilities.
Yeah, I could say a lot of that in how you've described it. They're good. Copper is a great conductor, no question about it. My L rods, dowsing rods, are basically made out of brass, and they move around freely, 360, and I have, the handle's designed so I don't, there's no manipulation on the handle side, and they flow very freely, and they work very well.
Okay, so now we're getting into the ghost box area. I've learned from the past that when we begin to do these things, it's important to take protective measures. So you at home, if you have certain things that you do to protect yourself, it's a good thing to do right now. And of course, after the show, because you never know how things can go through electrical devices and internet. And we've actually had people in the past have crazy experiences after ghost box sessions. Bill, what do you like to do before you get into your ghost box session to protect yourself and have a good session?
Well, I've generally just said a prayer, internalizing that to myself and basically shielding me from negativity. And that's one of the key ones that I do. And then basically it's just freeing my mind of anything that might be negative. And that's kind of how I've operated.
So to begin the ghost box session, do you generally start a session on your own to warm it up, or do you like to go with people's questions?
We could do a demo just so if there's new people in the chat room or listening in from wherever they are, that they can understand at least what it sounds like to begin with. And then
Okay.
you'll just hear me ask some random questions. So we'll turn it on.
And what is the ghost box we're using again? Can you tell our listeners?
It's the Codeless 89, and it's being patched through the Echo Effect speaker. Hello. How are you? You have a message for me? You got a message? You know, I'm on a radio show, so I encourage you to speak to us tonight. You have something of importance you'd like to tell the audience or myself? Where are you? Are you around here right now? Good. How many active spirits around my neighborhood? Can you tell me? Do you have anything in particular you'd like to tell me? Okay. We thank you for communicating. Goodbye. Okay, that's just a little demo. I just wanted to do it quickly.
That was very interesting. And I was typing in the chat, and I forgot to tell everybody, type what you hear in the chat to let us know what you heard, and we'll see what synchronicities we get. But I heard a scream in the first place, and then I heard here, I'm good, me, and it said cold or old, I couldn't tell. And someone said, and it never does, now, yes. Ton of them, hey, what the F is it, any phone or home? And you hear this crap? And then someone said 8.
Yeah,
Lynn said,
I basically heard a lot of that. Yeah.
Lynn said, excuse me, I do, listen, what's this? And he heard 8 as well. Sleepy said that he heard, I'm good, listen, me, yes. One of them, hey, is it, can you, no, I was able, it is crap. So he kind of heard the crap thing, but I said, I heard this guy say, you hear this crap?
Yeah. You know, Tessa, I just want to get down to if people hear like the F-bomb or other nasty words, shall we say, swear words or curse words, generally that doesn't happen on broadcast radio. And so basically, you know, the old story goes is where is that coming from? So that's kind of gives confirmation to the ghost box when you get those kind of curse words.
Yeah, it's very interesting because they do have guidelines, and there's a nice little list of
Yeah.
words that you cannot say. So that is very interesting.
Yeah, they don't like those kind of words being spoken on broadcast radio.
Gnome Drew said, was it a deep voice? It sounded like a guy that was like in his 30s, 20s, late 20s or early 30s. But there was a deep voice and there was a female. Yeah, I heard a bunch of different voices coming through. That was awesome. Okay, so if you guys have any questions for the Ghost Box, feel free to call us at 970-335-9596 or leave your question in the chat, or if you're on Facebook, you can also PM me your question. Sleepy Dave had a question for the Ghost Box, and he wants to know, how is Ridge doing?
Okay. Hello. just a helicopter flying over. I have Sleepy Dave here on the other side of my computer. He can hear in. He wants to know how's Ridge doing. Ridge, you want to communicate with your friend? He can hear you. You have a message for him? Ridge, what would you like to tell your friend? You doing okay on your side? You happy? Are you truly at peace, Ridge? What would you like to tell your friend, Sleepy Dave? Ridge? You'd really like to hear your voice. What's it like on the other side, Ridge? You enjoying it over there? I always hear it's very beautiful over there. Is that true? If you have an important message, Ridge, please say so, okay?
Watch the game.
You have something important to tell Dave, Ridge. Are you happy at your side? Truly happy?
And Sam.
Okay, well, we thank you for communicating. Goodbye. Okay, that wraps up that session.
That was interesting. Okay, so I got a lady at first. She said, "You're warned." Then I heard orb. Someone said a test. Then I heard wake up, wake up. You repeat my name. So effing fun. It's not only is well the light into I am here for you. Who's I? Please stop. It is something and loads of, and I couldn't hear the word that he said. Yes, and it said I'm cold, and that wasn't a male's voice, I don't believe. You will grow old. You missed me. Watch the game, yes, every day. Time, all that. I see them, yes, and Sam. And then at the end, a woman said the immigrant Bob, and then you hear this guy say, hola.
Yeah.
Kind of made me laugh. Lynn
Yeah.
said,
Well,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh, okay. You will hear foreign languages being spoken as well, not just English. That does happen.
Yeah, and the immigrant Bob, like, I don't know of any immigrants named Bob, but that was pretty funny. Lynn heard the F word, not interested, life, naked, please died or I died, died, yes, yeah, what's the game, how was that, and protocol. I don't know if people are still doing their thing, but that was pretty interesting, and a lot of it was... It sounded like a younger male. I kept hearing a voice. So I'm interested to see if Sleepy heard his voice at all during that.
Yeah, that's very important for people that are wanting me to get a hold of somebody, or generally I don't know the voice of these people, so what they sound like. So it's that input definitely helps us.
Okay, so we had another question in the chat room. Let me look really quick. And it was Christopher. He was wondering if, and I want to read this just to make sure I get it right, but I believe he wanted to know if there are any ancestors. He would like to know what his ancestors have to say and how is Gracie, Grace Kelly.
Okay. I have Christopher here, Christopher Fisher. He wants to get a hold of his relatives, his ancestors as well. Do they have a message for Christopher? What would be their message? What would you like to tell Christopher? Ancestors, is Christopher doing well? Are you happy that his direction in life? Do you have anything you'd like to add to it? You had something of importance you got to tell him. I feel that. What would you like to tell Christopher? How about Grace Kelly? You have a message for Christopher. You have a message for him? Anything in particular you got to tell Christopher, Grace Kelly?
See it.
How about you, ancestors? I know I push it with you guys about that. You have something of importance you got to tell Christopher. If not, why? Who's this? Okay, we thank you for communicating. Goodbye. Well, that certainly was interesting.
It really was. I heard so much stuff coming through.
Yeah, it's like a party line, that old telephone party line concept.
So Sleepy from the last one before this one said there was one and it was echoed, but Ridge kind of had an accent. But he said lots of things that were said did relate as he wrote. So that's pretty cool. And then during this session, Christopher said he heard a weird bell-like sound. Gnome Drew said he heard help. Yeah, if you can, let him have it. Good drink. Ask him. Christopher said I heard a lot. Oh, I think he's saying a lot of voices. I don't know if it's a lotus voice. I don't know who that is. Let's see. Hold on. My computer just did this weird thing. I heard... Okay, so Gnome Drew said he heard it say something, love to me, wake up, wake up. I heard, good, your ticket, you, adversity, you can wait, hey, and then it said out, it's him, yeah, let it go, road is blocked, initiative, he'll keep trying, and then 3 nights, I'm an angel, haunted is, would you guess them, argue, dream, they stop, people, why, word, is there, who is he? And then I heard this woman do this British chatter thing, like I could not understand a word she said, but it was like a full sentence of something. See it, you got to be, whatever, he is not, he'll stop if you stop, keep cleaning, women's, truth be read, released, conspiracy, and publicity. Let's see what Robin got. I don't know why my
it's almost like a sequence. Yeah, it's almost like a sequence of messages there from different spirits or entities. I like to say entities because that sort of just rounds them off into a category. Spirits are more directed to one type of entity.
Moon said he heard, hey Christy, help, bless you, and grace. Sharon said that she heard, no, give me, hey Christopher, goodbye. Call me is, call me, I don't know, Spanish and French words spoken, on to do him, weave, Chris, truth, beware of the light. Lynn said, going to get you, yeah, help, Mexican, let me go, damn it. Lynn, help, free me, tank, hold it, assault, indulge, mark, see it, we got, not to do them, Godspeed, focus, and damn it. Sandra said, 4 days, 4 miles, I'll take you. Heath, nope, it's him. Nah, hope, habit, visit him. Free, nice, cake, bless you. Ring, they stop. Is it live? I suck. Clean up, waiver, his Dell, would he, and conspiracy. And she kind of questioned, did she just hear her last name? Christopher said he just got cut off, so that's pretty interesting. And Sharon said they're talking to her, and they said, keep cleaning. But I think one of the voices that did come through did sound quite a bit like Grace Kelly. It was like nice and prim and proper. I don't know.
Yeah,
A
that would
lot
kind
of
of fit
voices.
her. Her persona.
Mostly I was hearing a male, though, so hopefully he got some good information out of that. Let's see. Robin also said he had a question. Let me see where it's at. He was asking about one of his relatives as well. And I'm trying to find it. I think I'm almost there. Where the heck did it go? Interesting. Okay, so he said he would like to contact his ancestor, Eric the Red.
Wow, that's quite a. Okay, let's
Quite a
give it a
title.
shot. Yes, definitely.
Let's go.
I have Robin here on the other side of my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to contact Eric the Red, the Viking.
Captain.
Eric the Red, are you there, sir?
All
You have a message for Robin.
different from right.
Eric the Red, what would you like to tell Robin?
Alarm clock. 120. Just good enough.
Do you have a special message for him? Do you like the direction he is going in his life right now, Eric the Red?
Actually, today or 9:30. Job every day.
He's doing good then? Do you have any suggestions for him?
Majority of happy. Thank you.
Now with their the coaster, not trend.
Eric the Red, how do you like it on the other side now?
In your neighborhood.
Are you happy there? You've definitely left a history, a good reputation in a way on history, Eric the Red. What would you like to tell Robin? Do you have any insight? Do you have insight for him? What else would you like to tell him, Eric the Red, to Robin? You must have something of importance for him.
bring my...
Silent.
Feels like...
Who else has something to say? How about Eric the Red? I know I pushed the question. What do you have to say to Robin? Eric the Red?
And so, like, when... For your chance. Okay. It's not... Does that... Don't call it this.
Okay, well, we thank you for communicating. Goodbye.
Very active, and it's interesting because you said no foreign languages are coming through, and it was something like a Swedish or Nordic language that I heard for a little bit, but for the most part it was English.
Yeah, I heard that too. It was a man's voice there. It definitely had an accent, very heavy.
Mm-hmm. And Christopher was saying on the last thing that he did hear her voice. Let's see what Gnome Drew said. Yeah, they cut off Christopher. Christopher got cut off during his session, but he said that was interesting that he actually heard a woman speak. What is weird, when they got back on air, it was a continuation. He said he didn't miss anything, which was weird. And Gnome Drew said, I think it might have been Grace Kelly. I've watched some of her movies. I think a few older ones. And Christopher said, yeah, I heard her voice. She's one of the very few I get a reliable connection to every time. So that's pretty interesting. But I got a lot going on, like I said, with this last one, including that language that I'm not sure exactly what it was.
Yeah, I could hear. I'm not too familiar with Scandinavian languages, but yeah, it was interesting. It had a whole different vibe. I have to say that's probably the oldest spirit I've ever tried to make contact with was Eric the Red.
It's amazing. So yeah, I got a whole good old paragraph going on here. It said, let's go, I lived, yeah, oh, that's Captain, all in, I got the, different from that, fright, alarm clock, 128, it just goes, it's actually the maid, majority is happening, I've been told, patience, formally, now with their belief, roller coaster, Bella, in your neighborhood, what personification, it was true, of course, they remember me. He was deceiving. Half they lift, all in. Yes, I don't want to talk about it. Kid, face jobs, they don't like it. Ha, don't ever do. And then it said something I couldn't understand. Then too bloody. Is that from Can I Bring My Boyfriend? And that was a young girl that said that. Can I bring my boyfriend? Yeah, man, ears on, me sugar. Get Out, Heavenly, he's classic. Then I heard the name Ivan. I Am, back. And a lake where they, from your standpoint, told you they'd listen. Naughty. There's that. Don't go at this. And then breaks. Gnome Drew said that he just heard Andrew. Lynn said, yeah, let's go. Captain, different go. Bigfoot 128. Off. Should meet the babes. Here to tell you it's broke. Coaster, daughter. Well, I am a spirit now. Sure, who is that? All of you, kid. Thank you. They don't like him. Goodbye. You do. A microphone. Excuse me? Dude, action. Shot at himself and don't go. Sandra Hurd, yeah. Effin, geography, thank you. Different. He foot, alarm clock, he should be. Giorgio, headache. Plays movies, coaster, opposite. What I was drawn, horse, sleeping, magic, owl. Kid, space, doo-doo, bloodied. Bring my doll, we became for your skin. Good actor. Robin said he said, I heard my name, Eric the Red. Gnome Drew said facials and laughed at that. Bella in your neighborhood, Robin. Pretty girl. And Moonlight said, never mind, I'm not going to say that.
I can only imagine.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I haven't seen any other questions. I can scan back really quick and look. And perhaps there might be one. Uh-oh. I just got a bad message. Okay. Well, I was just curious, for me, about my niece, Chrissy, and if she's okay with where her kids are.
Okay, so get a hold of Christy and the kids.
Yeah, Crystal Hogue was her name, and she was murdered a couple years ago. But yeah, I was supposed to take the kids as godmother, but things didn't work out because we didn't sign the paperwork. So now they're with the killer's family. So I'm just hoping that everything's okay and she's okay with what's going on. So yeah, Christy Hogue. Crystal.
Christy Hope. Crystal. I have Tesla here on the other side of my computer. Wants to get a hold of Christy Hogue. Christy? Crystal?
Cross.
How are you doing on the other side, to begin with? You doing well? Do you have anything important you want to tell Tessa? Christy? How are you feeling about the kids now? I heard that the kids are with the accused. Are you okay with that? Please give us something of importance about your feelings. Christy Hogue, how do you feel about that? Your kids are with the accused. Give us something of importance that you want to tell Tesla. Did work out for Tessa to get custody of the kids. You must have something of importance you'd want to tell Tessa. Crystal? So what would you like to tell Tessa,
Yeah.
Crystal?
No. Watch. Middleman. Right. Handmade here.
You must have a message for the family. Crystal, you're able to let your feelings be known now if you would like.
To represent.
Just me.
Welcome to you. And that's
So what would you like to tell Tesla?
What's going on inside?
Are you truly happy now, Crystal?
Thank God. That's and I'm waiting. Taking a
You have something important you have to tell the family, Christy.
Company's house. Missed you.
Okay, well, we thank you for communicating. Goodbye.
Sounded like there was a smart ass in there. But I heard a lot of things, and I do believe that I did hear her voice come through a few times.
Yeah, I did hear one female coming through quite a bit there.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what we got. Christopher was saying before the session started that, yeah, I always hear French and the local dialect, Ligurian, sounds like Spanish and English. Namdru said, let's see. Okay, so Sandra heard, crossed over, what did you do, fluid, thank you, portal, I think I can't, budget, if you, he said too much, no luck, he got effed. Cricket, rescue, most definitely, you know me, what's going on inside, and lose it. I heard, I'm here, cross the flood, Tessa, what you did, Tessa, yeah, thieves, he got me killed, I'm here, stop it, stop, my baby saw it, yeah, I'm trying, thank you, I'm doing, trying, bored, you're not going to, it's me, fine, it's tragic, I'm not, he said that, Crystal, they're alright, oh, it goes, he got all of this, freaking, right, yeah, I'm good, I'm still going, the key is, Google me, handmade here, no, sad, Tess, wow, rather shall somebody do, the record's there, just me is there, we, and that's probably what's going on inside, hug them, prison, visit, Bobby, yeah, I'm gonna, yes, great God. He did say, it's, and then I heard my name again, Tessa. Oh, and I'm waiting. Why'd you talk? Particular, what? All tread aboard. Better be good. Miss you. And they can be a problem. But yeah, there was this one particular guy that reminded me of Danny Zuko from Grease, like that whole accent, and he's the one at the end that was like, huh, kind of like a laugh, huh, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn said he heard, yes, Chris, what's it, sack, don't, yeah, help, yeah, is a joke, what, idiot, death, here I come, foo, buddies, poster, altar, yeah, got it made here, Lou, magic, Jesse, me, fools, what going on this day, listen, who is it, still don't know who this is, everything dark, husband, dogs, hello, I already told them, Japanese out, and Misty, and he said as well, there's a smartass in there, yeah, with some guy, but yeah, I think he wants to come through. I don't know who he's contacted or connected to that might be listening tonight, but I definitely heard some like East Coast accent coming in there from some guy at the end that wanted to come through and talk. That was interesting, but I did hear her and get some info out of that, so thank you.
Yeah. You know, to me, it sounds like another sequence of messages there when you piece it all together, kind of thing. So, yeah, it's fascinating how that works sometimes.
Yeah, to me, another thing that's fascinating is the distance between us and how spirits are actually able to work through digital devices, media, electronics, and different things like that. Doesn't matter where in the world you are, that they can still come through. That's pretty intriguing.
Yeah, considering, you know, it's the radio at my end and then the internet being broadcast through my end to you, and you're in Colorado, and then, you know, I mean, it's just, you know, spirits from all over the place, wherever they may be. So, yeah, it's fascinating, and, you know, it makes you think that we're more connected in the long run than we could ever imagine, even after we pass over.
For sure. So intriguing. Mooney said, Tessa, I heard many positive affirmations in a male and female Jamaican voice. I do not know how to take them. That's interesting. But on that note, we do have to go to our second music break. On this break, we have Dan Medina, and he actually was originally in the band Gravity, which is from Krakow, Poland, and he will be singing I Won't Let You Go. We also have Gravity from Krakow, Poland with My Last Goodbye, Prime Example from Milwaukee, Wisconsin with Power Play, and Mr. Fred Johnson III from Canyon County, California with After Dark. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Things come and said, streets of these are going to dead end. Listening to waves on windy days, standing by the wall, making sense of it all. So alone in the dark, all alone in the dark. All alone in the dark, you're alone in the dark. 'Cause I won't let you go. You're so far away, always with my soul. solo in the dark. 'Cause I won't let you go. I won't let you go. You're so far away, always with me in my soul. Yeah, yeah. And I won't let you go. And I won't let you go. Here I am, knocking at your door again, running in circles, losing my head. I never been good enough for you, so why can't you see anything I do? You say you can save me. So why don't you try? No matter what you tell me, tonight I'm gonna say my last goodbye. Here I am, kneeling on my knees again, running in circles, losing my head. I never been good enough for you, so why can't you see anything I do? You say you can save me, so why don't you try? No matter what you tell me, tonight I'm gonna say my last goodbye. Oh. You say you can save me, so why don't you try? No matter what you tell me, tonight I'm gonna say my last goodbye. Oh. My last goodbye.
Once upon a lifetime was a man in the hood, tricked, misguided, and misunderstood. Till one day he cried out, Lord, of life going too crazy. Because I tried everything under my hat, and I found all my plans were tears in the right. I need a hero, a real life a camaraderie, to step in to see me and deliver a power play. Something to raise my head from the dust is the must. I find someone in whom I can trust. I must grow in knowledge, live what I learn. I'm so glad to meet you, yo, my name is Vernon. Lead me any way that you're willing and I'll share. I need your power play. To the front and all past behind. Memories of things you did so absurd. Came to the curb, now burns the word. Cause often we're low now. Problems and writers, but with power from God, yeah, we all still victorious. Listen to the seed, the knowledge and digest the rhythm. Because a trooper like Jay keeps it righteous. And express a prime example of a vocalist, adjust your bubble. Leroy is like dangerous trouble. Trouble if you want it, peace if you with it. Never before known of a man who can stand it, but so irrelevant. So kick it in if you will, Lord, and I'll shield. I need your power play. Yeah, here comes another one. And now you're non-guessing. When power meets the darkness, the devil's got to go. That's my that Weasel, and now he's going loco. If you got a problem, God can solve it. Power from the general, and you're in his outfit. Why must the fist stay dirty so filthy? Get off your rear and whitewash the pickings. Power for cleansing, power for sanitizing, power for us, power for the rising of the sun. Cause in your darkest hour, you can look up and express to feel the power up. I need your power play. Yeah. Comes another one.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. And tonight we have Mr. Bill Hauser, a.k.a. Can Dewey, on the show. Welcome back, Bill.
Oh, it's great to be back.
It's been awesome using your Ghost Box, and thank you so much for doing what you do and helping us get messages. It's really amazing. Can you tell us again what model of Ghost Box you're using and where people can find these and perhaps what the cost is on such a thing?
Well, this one here is, these are custom built, what I like to use, because they have a variable sweep rate or scanning, so I can adjust the scan rate, so it can be really fast. I tend to have it up high even through the echo effect speaker, and it seems to work well. When the voices pop out, they pop out really well, and you can hear them. The Codeless Box 89, yeah, it's a great radio. It's built by Mark Codeless. There's a number of different builders out there, like Jay Prather with IDC devices and a few other guys, Rob Hernandez in California. And, you know, they all do a great job in what they do. And, you know, each of their radios have a different sound from each other. So that's what I like, is that I'm looking for that type of sound that just fits well. And if I use it on radio shows, it's easy for people to hear.
It really is, because with the sweeping noise that you generally hear with a normal Ghost Box, it can really agitate people. And there's warnings on these certain devices that if you have any sort of mental issues or whatnot going on, that you should not use these devices. But it can be pretty stressful on the human psyche, basically, because of the noise.
Yeah, and also, you know, I mean, your hearing too, like if you had the volume up. So, you know, I mean, I tend to do it in such a way that it's safe for myself. And, you know, after a while, you build a tolerance too. So having it smooth sounding like through the echo effect speaker, it's kind of like a portal type concept, running this Ghost Box through this amplifying speaker system. Yeah, it works quite well. It's cleans up the raw audio, and yeah, like I say, when the replies come back out, they pop out, and that's the way I like to have the Ghost Box operate.
It's very awesome and awesome technology. I really do enjoy it. It's very intriguing, and like we were talking about on break, just the many different voices that we're getting and the different energies that we're getting each session. It's not the same old voices. There's a lot of different ones in there, even foreign.
Yeah, and the accents that they have if they're speaking English, all these little things, foreign languages. Some are hearing French and Italian and I believe Spanish and so on. And, you know, I mean, that's the interesting thing about a Ghost Box. It's really doesn't matter what language it is, really.
And New York, holy cannoli, that guy wanted to say something. He just made me laugh. I'm like trying to listen.
Sound.
Yeah, he just kind of threw me off. I was just like, okay, this guy really wants to get through. But that was awesome. So we have... Go ahead.
Oh, maybe he will come through tonight still. It's still open.
Yeah, and that was what I was thinking about earlier, was BTO. And if we have time, I definitely want to ask about him and if what he thought was on the other side is really how it is for him. There's different theories, and what you believe is what your hell or purgatory or heaven could be. But yeah, it's pretty interesting how that works.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you have an announcement to make. I just remembered.
Oh, I do? Oh, yes, yeah, I do.
Yes. Yeah,
it's a very exciting one.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to tell him? You want me to tell him?
Well, you can kind of open it up, and I'll just add a few words to it after.
All right, so I'm super excited to announce that Mr. Bill Hauser will be doing monthly show on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm super excited and super stoked to have him on the show and to have his expertise and his gifts. I'm super stoked. Thank you so much, Bill.
Yes, thank you very much, and it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it on Paradox Media. That's a really cool sounding name, and it's a great network that you've set up here. And yeah, it's awesome that we can be doing some really good ghost box sessions for people, and that's what it's about, is helping people at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I really do think it, and I think it's because of your gift, because I've used the ghost box, different people around me have used it, and never ever have I really had the outcome that you have. I think at one point I did get a lot of stuff going on when my nephew came out from Arkansas, but it is amazing how gifts and technology work together. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. You guys got to definitely keep track and tune in when we have Bill on. Also, don't forget we got Sleepy Dave on during the week with Time Slip Cafe. Alrighty, so getting back to the ghost box, Gnome Drew wanted to get a hold of his Uncle Jack, and he said Uncle Jack is his dad's father, other brother, and there was 3 together. He was in Germany and got a bad injury that nearly took his life. He said, not sure what he might say, though he's been gone since his early 20s. Uncle Jack is Dad's close cousin's dad. He was a VP of Human Resources at Disneyland. Reason he got a summertime job there, and he rewrote the retirement plan, then retired as VP from Disneyland. So, yeah, I guess he wants to see if Uncle Jack's out there and what Uncle Jack might have to say.
And the person again that wants this communications?
We call him Gnome Drew, but his name is Andrew.
Andrew, yeah, I think I'll stick to Andrew because that sort of would probably resonate better.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Hello, I have Andrew here on the other side of my computer. He wants to get a hold of his Uncle Jack. Uncle Jack, are you there? Your nephew's here. He's looking forward to a message from you. What would you like to tell your nephew, Uncle Jack? Andrew's listening in right now. He can hear us. You doing okay on the other side, Uncle Jack?
Thanks.
Surely at peace now? Uncle Jack, I heard you worked for Disneyland. Can you share a memory from when you worked there?
A fitting.
Andrew, your nephew, really wants a message from you, Uncle Jack. Do you have something to tell him?
Wow.
What would you like to tell him? I hear you talking amongst yourselves. You want to talk to me? It would be greatly appreciated. Uncle Jack, what would you like to tell your nephew, Andrew?
Peter,
What's it like on the other side, Uncle Jack?
Bonne classe.
relax.
Relaxing. Well, that's great. All your friends and family over there, I'd assume, that you're associating with.
Think that's
Who else is there? What's your connection to Uncle Jack?
C'est déjà bien.
Okay, well, we thank you for communicating. Goodbye.
Yeah, it was funny there for a bit. It sounded like they were having their own little hangout party discussion thing going on there.
Yeah, sometimes that happens where they just sort of communicate amongst themselves, sort of ignore me at this end trying to make communications, in other words.
Yeah, Andrew said, "This sounds interesting. Sounds like my relatives are talking." Christopher asked, "Have a female in the mix?" I definitely heard I believe she was a teenage female. The way she was talking and laughing and stuff totally had the teenage vibe. Andrew said, "Could be my grandmother, my dad's mother." Sandra said she heard Peter, Dad, Pete, like in class, help me, Bishop, love, and conflict. And she said that's all that she got. Lynn said, "Scream, Bill, right, nothing, yeah, thanks, or you think, yeah, I get it, help, so, hey, now, Mystic, set up, whatever, Ellie, y'all come, interesting, is fine, Linda, Peter, why do you ask, all right, dude, come here, and hey," and instead of hitting the return button when I went to scroll, I haven't, so I'm scrolling to the end of mine because I got quite a bit. I got, "It was help, or was this over here?" I asked, "What?" Knocking them. What? He's on point. Thanks, I'm good. Peace. It was like right after you said, do you have peace? I heard peace right after you said peace. And then, ooh, then it says, Jack is back, buddy. He's well, so I'm there and everything. A feeling I hoped he's there, know what. And then I heard a guy's voice say, old Wally, and then he laughed and said, Wally again. Still believe they say, be considerate. It just takes time. Peter, it'll all work out. Me, God, yay. Like class, it is a lot. Very relaxing. This is new. I think that it works. It does. Me there in bathtub. I'm not a number, said one lady. I'm not a number. Slide, is it guilty? And then I heard a motor revving, which was interesting. Then someone said, in a coma. And I believe a female said, come with. And Gnome Drew, a.k.a. Andrew, said, that describes Uncle Jack. He was on point in Germany. I guess he fought in Germany against the Nazis. Thanks, Uncle Jack.
Wow, that's amazing. A lot of history there.
For sure. And I felt like a lot of stuff came through, but it was so funny to just hear them hanging out. There was a younger guy and then like this teenage girl, and I don't know who else there, but those two were definitely having a conversation going on.
Yeah. I like that lady saying, I'm not a number. That kind of really shows true emotion at their end.
Right.
Yeah. I find that quite amazing, actually. So
I'm not a number.
Yeah.
So we had another question in the chat room. Sandra Heath was wondering, does the ET that she saw in the 70s have anything to say to her? Be interesting if an ET came through.
Yeah, that could easily happen. Okay, let's try to get a hold of Sandra
before we
Heath.
get on there, Gnome Drew just came in and said that Jack was in a coma for a while. He was bedridden for an entire year. He had to relearn how to do everything all over again. He had a severe wounding neck injury during combat during World War II, severe nerve damage in the neck, always scratched his face or neck when he was a kid, and that's what he remembers about Uncle Jack, and he laughed out loud and said, you might get some visitors, Sandra. Don't get abducted. Okay, so moving on to Sandra's ET. Does he have a message for her?
Okay. I have Sandra Heath on the other side of my computer. She wants to get a hold of the ETs that she encountered. Do they have a message for her?
High quality.
The ETs. ETs, you have a message for her?
Are back.
Sandra wants to know about the extraterrestrials that contacted her many years ago. Do they have an important message for her?
Literally.
Do you have a message? E.T.? Do you have a message for her? Extraterrestrials, What was your purpose in trying to make contact with Sandra Heed?
The club? More. Anyway.
Please. Abby.
Would you have an important message for Sandra?
This one.
E.T.?
Your hometown. It's worth I'm not that.
They
Don't.
Okay, thank you for communicating. Okay, there we go.
Well, that was interesting. And it kind of seems like after our break, it's a little quieter.
Yeah, I noticed that too. That does happen. It goes in different waves of communication there.
Okay, so Sandra said she got wise woman, hey there, high quality, you lived, armed death, hide, literally, do you want me, you own it, did you get it, horned, this one, give, her hometown was worth it, ladies, money, babe, and dark. And then she kind of laughed out loud. I got nada, we are there, high quality, we did, and then booty punch, arm back, eyes, Michael, literally, hey, wait up, yeah, I'm 20, moving up, beyond me, music is the spell, I lapse, you laugh, and then a girl said, I can't hear them, then I heard, then someone said, the clonic, more than, anywho, it's, Abigail, you, no, just fine, or it's fine, jerk, beside, I accidentally went kind of wonky on spelling that, beside all of me, why are you, your hometown, a quarter mile, and after that, bait, wait, may, dark, and it's all, or that's all. I don't know. It was interesting, but I definitely kept hearing a male, and it's interesting. He said I'm 20 because he sounded really young. Makes you wonder about how their years might compare to our years. Maybe he's 20 in our world and like thousands of years old in another reality. I don't know.
That's a possibility. When it comes to things like ETs and that, what I look for too is anything that sounds slightly robotic in sound or, weird kind of high-pitched sounds. Those are sort of being common when people have tried to make contact with extraterrestrials or off-worlders, shall we say.
Yeah, and Sandra also said that it's interesting because this incident did happen in her hometown.
Okay, that's interesting.
And I also wonder if his name was Michael. When I heard it's Abigail, it sounded like a little girl, but I'm wondering if his name was Michael or if they even have names.
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that. Well, I'm sure probably they would have something of, names amongst themselves. I don't only assume, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Or it could be a intelligence more than an actual person, and intelligence behind that as well. So, I mean, you have many different views on that kind of stuff.
yeah, and then Sandra just said that she thought she heard Michael, but I definitely heard Michael during this session, and Abigail.
Yeah. hmm Yeah. I wonder if Michael and that and Abigail they have a special connection to her or something like that. That would be interesting if she could, type that in chat room for you.
Yeah, and then Gnome Drew, aka Andrew, said, "Yeah, Sandra, why is Dad's name brought up?" So I wonder, is his name Michael, or was it Peter from the other session? Interesting.
Yeah.
But Sandra was saying no, that there really is like no connection that she can think of to her with those names.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael the
It's certainly
Archangel.
interesting.
I'm not
Well, yeah.
Catholic, but he's one of my faves.
Yes, he's definitely a big name out there in the Archangel category.
Well, I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat room. I was curious if BTO might be joining us tonight. And we did hear that Danny Zuko sort of voice coming through. But yeah, it definitely didn't sound like BTO, but it did remind me of him. And help me remember that I was wanting to ask about him tonight. So can we see if we got BTO around?
Okay.
Oh, and his real name was Carlos.
Pardon me? I didn't quite catch that there.
His real name was Carlos, and Sandra agreed
Carlos,
with me. Yes, ask about BTO, because we're all curious. We miss him.
Yep. Okay. Hello? I want to get a hold of BTO. Are you there, BTO? We're on a radio show, BTO. Carlos, communicate with us, okay? Everybody wants to hear your voice. Tesla's here, Sandra, and many others. You have a message for us? You doing okay out your side, BTO? Are you happy at your side? What's it like on the other side, Carlos? What would you like to tell us, Carlos? Got a message for anybody in the chat room that you would have known? Peace? Who's this? Carlos, must have a message for anybody that you knew at one time. You got a message for me, maybe? You have anything in final you want to tell us, BTO? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Well, that was interesting. It kept sounding like something was trying to come through, but it was really, like Lynn said, garbled. Lynn
Yeah,
said he
I
heard.
heard that.
Yeah, it was really strange. It was like you could hear a voice, but I don't know if he was too far away, if he's in a crazy place in the Omniverse. I'm not sure. But Lynn said he heard enough.
Like a low frequency voice coming through, but not quite.
Yeah. Sandra said, "Do you know what up totally BTO have it excuse me BTO I may come hi family feather let me save and the other side." And yeah, Sandra said the same thing. It was like a voice trying to get through, but it was really hard to understand because it was just like like a bad signal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the only way to describe it.
I heard, "What do you need? Yo, what? Geez. How do you? What? Totally. In a funk. BTO. Instinct. What? Careful. He should. Too many. Yep. What's that? It might be different. Really, it is. Hey and hey. And one day come awfully lit." And then, like I said, a bunch of garble. Couldn't understand what it was saying. "Oh, you're like..." It was like a guy saw him and said, "Oh, you're like brushy." "Oh, yeah, you... Hey." Like a loud hey and hello. And then I heard Tess, "Please quit. Don't make the same. Believe me, it's better. A lot hid. Let me say... It probably hasty, hello, something, lock the door, maybe we," and then I couldn't understand what else was going on because it was several talking at the same time.
Yeah.
Andrew said, "Very garbled up, maybe the voice is being blocked, I don't know," but, he went beyond the Omniverse was the nickname that he had given himself, so maybe he's out there doing an astral hop or something, and the feed wasn't coming through quite clear from space.
Yeah, definitely maybe interdimensional type travel, who knows.
Yeah, Numdrew said maybe the voice is being blocked, I don't know. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. I'm surprised we didn't get a holy cannoli or something. We might have.
Yeah.
We just couldn't
Yeah,
understand it.
Yeah.
But Sandra said he had a soft voice, and when I heard my name, it sounded like him, and there was a couple other times that it sounded like his voice, but for the most part, it was like not coming through clear. Lynn said he was in the next room for the last 2 sessions, so he didn't hear much. He said on the session before this one, he definitely heard Michael, and he definitely heard the name Abigail, clear as day, but otherwise he hasn't been able to hear a lot of it because he's been in the next room over. So we are Bill down to our last 15 minutes. What would you like to do from this point on?
Well, I'd like to go to the other ghost box just for a little while, the direct link there.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And just have a little change of pace for a different radio and see what comes through.
Okay, so direct link, where did you find this?
Well, this is the radio that Jay Prather built. This is one of the originals. He only made a small amount of them, so I think he made about 6 or 7, and I managed to get one of them. And he has a revised version of it now. So, yeah, those are the ones that were used on the Ghost Adventures TV show. And yeah, he's well known in the Ghost Box community, and he does a great job at what he does.
Is that the one that has like a really boxy sort of small shape, and then it's got the circle of dots for the speaker?
Yeah, well, actually, this one is very clicky sound. It has a strong clicking sound. So it's a little bit different, and then this one works differently because the antenna is actually myself. There's a little plate on the side that I touch, and so it goes with the conductivity of my body as the antenna.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's actually a whole different feel to it. Okay, I'll turn it on. Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Are you ready?
Who would like to talk to us?
Just this way.
Is it possible to get a name from somebody? Who from the past that I know would like to communicate? You have a message for us? Would you like to talk to us?
Well, fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's what that sounds like. It is a totally different type of ghost box to use, so it works on a random scan as opposed to a linear scan.
Yeah, it was interesting. It definitely has a different sound. Andrew said it kind of sounds like somebody getting spanked, but I heard a lot of different voices in there. I heard yes, and then someone said, "Are you Red?" And someone said, "Just me, why?" Then I heard the name Nikki. "I don't get a vote. I'm trying. More. There is damage. Crystal gets them. Not yet. I'm here. Yeah, you know. He's going to shoot ya," said one fella. Then another guy said, "Hell no. probably can't wait. Inside, defeat will finally, and then a woman said, please. Pretty clear. It sounded like she was in the same room.
Yeah, it is an interesting ghost box to work with. I enjoy working with it. When you look at it at first, it looks kind of like a walkie-talkie look to it. So
Yeah, that's what I was seeing in my head, and it's got like this round thing punched out, like
yeah,
round
well,
punched out holes
well,
for the
actually,
speaker.
it's a casing actually used for computers, the older computer, what do you call speakers? So it's that kind of thing there where basically a radio tuner is being put in there with the scanning capabilities and not the circuit for the scanning aspect. So yeah, it's pretty cool, the radio, how it works. So. And then I had another thing here that's really good. It'll be using the Colas 89, but we're going to change it up and basically
I got
it'll be an external speaker added to it, but it'll be more bass sound to it. So
okay. Well, Sandra was saying she heard Golden Boy more. That's awesome. You never know. As long as you get out of my way, beat it, and then more fun. Lynn heard, are you ready? Let me see. Good boy. Boy, who's this? I don't get it. As long as you hit something, good break. Anytime. Hold him. You need it. Going to find him.
okay, so now we'll go to the Colas Box 89 with a external speaker. That's got a very bassy sound. Who would like to talk to us? Who's got a message for us?
Andy.
Andy. Does Andy have a message? Who around my area that used to live around here wants to communicate? Do you have something you'd like to say? How about some of the early pioneers of this area? The Bothwell family. Anybody from the Bothwells would like to talk? Who else there? Who else is there? Think I could get a name, please? Is it possible to get a name? I do. In what way? Who else is there? You doing okay? Okay, well, thank you for communicating. All the spirits must go back in the room. I'm going to count 1 to 5 backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you for communicating. Goodbye. Okay, that wraps up that.
That was very interesting. More voices coming through, and another one that sounded pretty garbled trying to come through, so it was hard to understand them, but I did get some stuff out of it.
Yeah, I think that's just what's happening right now. It's just we had a real free flow of energy coming through, and now it's kind of quieting down a little bit.
Just in time for the end of the show. But yeah, Andrew was saying, or it could be the way things are being looped back. I don't know. But I heard clearly Andy, Truman, homicides, yes, aw shit, cried, you want to talk? And then I heard Laura, guess not, hey there, she's dead, and I think it said and who or can do.
Yeah, sometimes they actually say my nickname, so it does happen.
Yeah, it sounded like and who or can do. I couldn't tell which. And then Andrew said, my Uncle Jack's son is named Dave. He worked at Disneyland as VP. He was in high school age along with Dad. He was with Dad when he did burnouts in the high school parking lot in Dad's 1964 GTO. But I also heard Daddy, believe we're lost now, the global, say a prayer, please watch a little bit. I can talk, go team, constant, and then when you said bye, I heard a female say bye-bye. Lynn said he heard yeah, Andy, beat it, oh yes, how you doing, lover, Flo, Big Low, Bob, excited for upcoming dates, and we'll work out the schedule as you see fit. But thank you again. How can our listeners, and I'm sad that I did have to cut out some of your links to post the event because it was blocking me from sharing some of the links for some reason. Can you tell our listeners how to find you and your YouTube channel and such?
Yeah, they can find me on YouTube under William Hauser. That's the new channel I created this year, as well as my old channel, Can Dewey. So the username Can Dewey. And I'm also on Auto Boom. I have a channel there, and I do a little podcast. I do a couple of months or whatever, so they can hear me there. And just to put in Google and just put in Can Dewey, Bill Hauser, a.k.a. Can Dewey, you'll get a lot of stuff on me. So, yeah, there's many ways of seeing me on the internet.
Well, thank you so much once again for being my guest tonight, Bill, a.k.a. Can Dewey. It was awesome. I had a great time, and thank you so much for helping us get these different messages. It really is amazing.
Yeah, and thank you very much, too, for having me on. It's been great. I enjoyed it.
I as well. And thank you to all of our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Periscope, iHeartRadio, and wherever else you may be beyond the Omniverse tonight. I had a wonderful time this evening, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend when we have the Paradox Paranormal Forum, where a group of us get together and talk about everything under the umbrella of the paranormal. Don't forget, you guys, we are all in this together. Together we can make the world a little better, and together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. If you guys would like to join us on our Skype after party, look us up at tessa.n.thomas30 or give us a jingle at 970-335-9596. Until next time, you guys, nighty-night, love and light, take care of my yous, and I will see you back here next weekend, same time, same place.